Okay, we're live, and Dr. Andrew's still changing. That's how it goes. Someday he'll actually get his clothes on. I guess that's how it goes. So, guys, welcome to the broadcast. We are here. We're going to talk about healing from within. All right. So, everything today is all about how we're going to get you healing from the inside out. We have to realize that all healing, all true healing, is an inside event, it's an inside job. Right, Dr. Andrew?
Absolutely. It's all about one cause, one cure. So our job is to get the brain talking to the rest of the body at 100%. And once we get the brain talking to the rest of the body, what do we always say? We want it talking to healthy cells, healthy tissues.
You see, if we get the body functioning at 100%, we can have the life of our dreams. That's what it's all about. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get this dog rolling, shall we? Maybe not. Maybe we'll get this dog rolling. I'll just do that. All right. So we're going to talk about the human digestive system, because a lot of healing comes because of the use of our human digestive system. So the digestive system has 4 parts. It has a tube, okay, the tract, the GI tract, the liver, which works on digesting certain enzyme systems with the gallbladder. They work together, and the pancreas. Now, the tube itself has different parts, okay? It has different parts to the system. It's got a mouth that helps digest, you chew in the mastication, as it's called, the esophagus, the stomach, which has a specific job, the small intestine, which is absorption, and large intestine, which coalesces waste, and then the anus, where things pop down the poop chute, right?
Absolutely.
Dr. Andrew, yeah, that's good. Yeah.
I think one of the things we focus on, or I know we focus on, is the fact, the interplay with these systems. We are the systems within the systems. If you go to the medical profession, they're going to break down into endocrinologist, gastroenterologist. It's all going to be broken down into different systems. What we're concerned about is how these systems are working together to create a healthier human.
And that's what it's all about. And Amanda, I do not have the PowerPoint now. All I got is me and my ugly mug. So sorry, kid, we don't have a PowerPoint. Hello, Miss Amanda. Now, keep talking, Dr. Andrew. I'm going to grab Amanda so we can get the PowerPoint up. It's up on my monitor. Oh, here she comes.
Well, today, through the course of this, I highly encourage you to ask any questions possible. If you have a question, it means that somebody else probably does as well.
All right, so let's go and get to rocking. So the human digestive system. Oh, wait. I did something wrong again. There we go. Keep punching the wrong buttons. All right. So the purpose of the human digestive system is to digest nutrients, break them down, and absorb the nutrients. Make sense? So we break these buggers down and we absorb them. Now, proteins, okay, that's your meat products. They break down into small little constituents called amino acids. Fats become fatty acids. And what's our fancy name for that, Dr. Andrew?
Glycerols?
Sure, glycerols
or
and Keith, that's the new term for the 2020s, I guess. And then carbohydrate guys become simple sugars. So that's the whole system, right? That's what it does. You put food inside your pile, macronutrients, they drop inside into the stomach. Proteins get broken down in the stomach acid into amino acids. They travel past in something called the duodenum. Then the pancreas spits out something amylases, which breaks down carbohydrates into simple sugars. And then the final piece of the puzzle is the liver and gallbladder dump bile to help break fats down into fatty acids. That's the whole purpose of that digestive system. Now, the other piece of the puzzle that many people don't know is that the gut, 70% of the immune system is housed within the gut. Now, if you think about the gut, though, you've got the inside part of the gut and a very, very thin layer where things have to pass through these tiny little portals to get these nutrients and micronutrients and your trace minerals passing through that. On the inside, you've got the blood vessel. So that's where all this stuff gets broken down into the smallest constituent, passes through that tiny junction, and then you got that whole thing, which makes logical sense. I mean, 90% of the crap that goes into our bodies goes in through our mouth. So we put this stuff into our mouth. That includes bacteria, viruses, parasites, dirt, good stuff, bad stuff. It all goes down there. So we don't want to have an immune system there to protect it. Logical sense? Yes, Dr. Andrew?
Absolutely. I think one of the things I've been thinking about recently is that you look at our Paleolithic ancestors. They were dealing with bacteria, viruses constantly, but they had an immune system, a gut that was able to fight off of those because they were living within their natural state. We are intelligently designed, created, evolved, whatever you believe in, but we just have to live in accordance to that design.
Yeah, we have to. There's no doubt. So inside the gut, we have something called the gut microbiome. Now, the microbiome was discovered relatively recently, maybe 10, 15 years ago. And the microbiome are basically the bugs within the gut, all right? And then there's a lot of them. So we have all kinds of bugs living inside of our gut. There's trillions of bacteria, viruses, and fungi that live within our gut. Some of them, we call them good bacteria, bad bacteria. I really don't consider them good or bad, because the key element in all of this is balance. There has to be a balance within our gut in order to keep our bodies healthy. There's so many of these microbes within our body. We oftentimes wonder what's calling the shots. There's more microbes than there are neurons in our body. So if you got an imbalance, that's going to mess with so many factors and how our body heals. So when our gut gets out of balance, the fancy term for that is called dysbiosis. So the gut gets out of balance. So there's lots of things that create it, but let's talk about some stuff as it relates to the immune system. So there's our one virus and one parasite, and they're opposites of each other. One guy does something, and they're having a balance. So there's a battleground going on. We want to make sure that it's equal and always balanced out. The challenge you run into is when we get our microbiome out of balance, that's where we get dysbiosis. So for example, who's heard of E. coli? Dr. Andrew, tell the story about E. coli, what happened some, say, 15 years ago.
So E. coli, I think what happened was there was this big craze that, holy crap, E. coli, I think it was a mad cow disease was one of the ones they're worried about. There was coming out that, Dole had it all over their food. People were scared to death of this E. coli bacteria.
And why should they be? Yeah. Why should they be afraid? Look what E. coli does. There it is. E. coli is commonly found in the human intestine, okay, in human mammals, okay? It helps in digestion. It makes vitamin K and also makes many estrogens as well. So the bottom line is E. coli is a beneficial bacteria. But the challenge is when it got out of balance. That's when we started having struggles. Too much of one versus another leads us down this path where our bodies become sick. So that's what we got to do. We got to think about keeping our body and microbiome in balance. So the gut does digestion and absorption, and it also has healthy bacteria that aid in the digestion process, make vitamins, mineral. They may do all kinds of benefits for us. We got to keep our immune system in balance.
One of the things so we're talking about dysbiosis before. Now, when the gut is in balance, we call that symbiosis because everything's working in synthesis with one another.
Yeah, symbiotic relationship. One works with the other. So I want you to think about this. And I took a seminar some time ago, and they were talking about this, how vaccinations create dysbiosis. Okay. What's the number one flu bug, if you will, they always talk about? Haemophilus influenza, the influenza bug. So what did they do? They came up with a flu vaccine for it. And what they did is they found a mechanism for killing this H influenza, the flu vax. The flu vaccine killed the flu. Well, what happened next is you got all kinds of overgrowth because the guy who was balancing out the influenza virus now overgrew, just like E. coli. A healthy, normal bacteria of E. coli, which helps in the digestion process, if you get too much of it, can cause challenges. Like for example, the very first healthy bacteria they found in the human gut, the first micro of the gut, the bacteria in the microbiome was Acidophilus. So what did they tell us? we should eat lots of yogurt. And we cultured everything with acidophilus. Well, guess what? One of the most common things we find in our testing that we run, we find, guess what? We find imbalance of acidophilus, too much acidophilus. There's nothing to balance it out. So we have to be smart and realize we're not as smart as we think we are. So dysbiosis, so that's one mechanism how vaccinations can create dysbiosis, which then messes with the human immune system. But there's another challenge too, Dr. Andrew. What is that? Right here. All these things right here, besides the dead virus. So, Dr. Andrew, kind of explain to them in basic terms. I know you like the big words, dude, but let's talk to them about how this whole vaccination thing works. They make a dead virus. What does that do?
The dead virus then creates an immune response, but the dead virus alone doesn't create the immune response. They have to put adjuncts into it, which is just it's material that's going to further create an immune response so that the body can then design what they say, create a code in fixing that. And here's some of those adjuncts that we're talking about.
So besides the dead virus, okay, which you're trying to create an immune response to kill the influenza virus, which creates an imbalance in the microbiome, dysbiosis, we also add things like potassium chloride, which is a known nerve toxin. Now we know for science fact that the brain and the nervous system and the immune system have crosstalk. They talk to each other. The brain talks to the immune system talks to the brain. It's that simple. And so that's why subluxation correction, chiropractic work is so critical for keeping your immune system strong and powerful. So if you do a nerve toxin, such as potassium chloride, that's going to impact the effectiveness of the immune system. Squalene, neurotoxin. How about cancer? Who wants cancer? Raise your hand out there if you want cancer. I don't think you do you? Raise your hand if you're into cancer. Well, guess what? There it is right there. Cancer causing it. Beta propiolactone. Okay. Then we got an immune, guys, sodium dichlorate. It is an immune toxin. It damages your freaking immune system. Does that make sense to anybody out there that you're putting something in your body to help boost your immune system and damage it in the process? There's another cancer causing agent. And then we got oxanol 10, immunotoxin, another immune toxin, neomycin. Neomycin is a antibiotic. What are you doing? You're killing all the healthy bacteria, creating more and more dysbiosis, damaging your body more and more. Then we got a total body toxin, thimerosal. Talk a little bit about thimerosal. What is that, Dr. Andrew?
It's funny how they hide these chemical compounds. Thimerosal is actually mercury. So we know mercury is what? When we rank most toxic compounds on there, where does mercury fall, Dr. Ray?
Number 2, baby. It's the second most toxic element on the planet. And we are putting this into our bodies to help boost the immune system and the kidney toxin. But I have a question for everybody out there, okay? Everybody listening, I want you to raise your hand if you would ever take a shot of this. Like take a shot of, like you take a shot of whiskey. There's a shot glass right there with whiskey in it. Would you take a shot of antifreeze? Anybody? Dr. Andrew, would you take a shot of antifreeze?
In my younger days, I took shots of lots of things, but not antifreeze.
But not antifreeze. Why? Because it's a poison. It will kill you. What do they say? Well, now antifreeze in general, it's sweet. I have no idea why. And of course, why would I know that? Because somebody said that and I tasted it. But again, damaging to your body. But it's sweet. So what happens? They'll fall out of a car and dogs drink it and dogs die from that. So why am I bringing this up? We talked about all these toxic chemicals. Well, the reason I'm bringing it up, guys, is quite simple. Because inside this flu vaccination, we have got something called polyethylene glycol, which is basically antifreeze. So they're going to come out. They're going to start talking about this new virus. They're going to talk about this new vaccine, all these different strategies. But I want you to think about what you've learned today before you roll up your sleeve and, oh, I'm ready. Give me that shot. So be thinking about that before you move forward, okay? Because why would you take a shot of, you wouldn't take a shot of antifreeze and let you take a shot of this into your veins. So be thinking about that as we progress through our discussion, okay? Now, this is one of my favorite pictures on the planet. Now, you guys are looking at this going, oh my God, what is this? You know what this is? This is the complexity of the human immune system. Now, I don't know if it's even completely accurate because we're still learning things every day, but these are all the interconnections and the interplay between the body and the brain and the chemistry and all these things. And this is the interplay. And you really think that one of these is going to impact in a positive way all of those interactions and not have a negative byproduct. Guys, something you got to consider. All right. This is a neat picture. What is this a picture of, Dr. Andrew?
That would be the microvilli of the gut. So that's
those little pink thingies you guys are looking at right there. Those are the little tentacles, if you will, that kind of say, "Come to me, food. Come to me, food. Come to me, food." And it helps to milk the amino acids and the glucose and the fatty acids and the ketones and all your trace minerals, and they get absorbed. Now, the big yellow splotches that you're seeing, that's something we call leaky gut. See, we talked about this. You have the inside membrane. Now we're looking at the inside layer of the gut right here in our picture. Now, everything has to penetrate through this very thin layer, very small little layer to get its way into the bloodstream. Now, these big holes, as we call them, these leaky gut holes, cause troubles. So the dysbiosis created from a lot of different factors as we went through, plus other factors equals leaky gut. What are some of those factors? Well, one is stress. Dr. Andrew, what does stress do to the body? What is the hormone that gets interplayed here?
It's going to be cortisol. It's going to be elicited by the sympathetic response, which is great when we have a tiger that we're running from, because does your body care about digesting food if you're running from a tiger or a threat? Absolutely not. But when you're in a constant state and it's chronic, well, guess what? You're going to damage the gut over and over again because guess what? You think you're running from a tiger constantly.
Right. So what happens? There's science out there all over the place, guys, that says chronic habitual stress thins the gut, creating this leaky gut. We talked about toxins as it relates to vaccinations, but that can come from any other sources. That can come from processed foods, all your commercially grown meats. And let's think about that for a second. So commercially grown meats. So, okay, I'm eating this cow. What did the cow get fed? Most commonly in America, what is it, Dr. Andrew?
Lots of corn.
Corn, grains, all this kind of stuff. So they feed this stuff. What do they put on the corn, Doc? Well, first of all, what's corn? Every corn product and most of your grains are GMO, genetically modified. So they're not even true food. They've been manipulated through genetic chemistry to create these toxic elements. So they do that. What do they spray on the corn?
Glyphosate, aka Roundup, which I think is pretty cool because what they did is
That's pretty cool.
First of all, glyphosate was an antibiotic originally, and then they discovered that it kills insects. Well, they said, well, guess what? It works on insects, but it doesn't kill humans because they're so small. Well, guess what's similar to insects? All those great friends we have in our gut, such as our bacteria. And so it's killing those and creating that dysbiosis factor.
So it's crazy, right? We're feeding the cows manipulated chemically grown food, genetically modified. Because now they're weak, we spray pesticides, we spray herbicides, and then they feed them to a cow, and we have something called toxic bioaccumulation. Guys, we're at the top of the food chain, which means we get what everything eats. So if you're in a fish, the little fishies that ate all the toxic chemicals we threw into the ocean, it takes 10 little fishies to make a medium fishy. Now you have 10 times the toxin in that fish, and you get a bigger fish that maybe 10 more. Now you've multiplied it again, and now we're catching the big fish, eating those, and now we're toxic. How about food particles? What's the problem there? Incomplete food digestion, right? Why does that happen? What's the number one reason, Dr. Andrew? Are you there?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear? I can. Yeah, you're fading in out. Go ahead. Food particles. Where do they come from? Undigested food material. You there? Speak to me, Dr. Andrew. All right. Well, looks like we might have lost Dr. Andrew's audio for a second. But food particles come from undigested material. Remember, we got our stomach, the pancreas, and the liver. Now, if you've got a subluxation, the spine becomes misaligned. That nerve can't connect to the stomach. You don't make adequate stomach acid, and you end up with food particles. And ironically, the sign of lack of acid is acidy stomach. And that's because of a different type of acid called acetic acid. Then, of course, lack of pancreas, that's insulin. You're not going to absorb your nutrients. And of course, and amylases, and of course, from the gallbladder and your liver, the formation of bile to help absorb and digest those foods. So undigested material is going to cause, that's another factor. Drugs, number one, all drugs damage your gut. But the one that always comes to mind, of course, is antibiotics, because you're not killing just selective bacteria. You're nuking everything, making room for the next one, which is pathogens. And finally, your poor liver, which has to deal with all these toxins, end up being overwhelmed or broken down, and you just keep recycling it. You get the poison, gets damaged, passes through the lining gut through these yellow holes, which goes back into the liver, back into the gut, back into the bloodstream, back into the liver, back into the gut, and you're stuck in a freaking nightmare disaster. Did I get you back, Dr. Andrew?
Can you hear me?
I can. All right. So the end game, guys, is all of this creates inflammation. All right. Now, the purpose of inflammation is not bad. It's not a bad thing. If you've got a tiny little bug, like when you get a little scrape on your arm, a little boo-boo, what happens? Well, you get a scab. Surrounding the scab, that's inflammation. That's a war going on, and there's hand grenades going off, and bazookas, and you got bombs dropping, and they're trying to kill whatever's in that wound. They're trying to clean it up. So they have a war battle, and then the Pac-Man comes around your macrophages and cleans it all up, which is beautiful. What we're talking about here, however, is systemic inflammation. This is when so much material passes through the gut that your immune system goes through battle fatigue. Now what? Your body starts attacking you. So that's where we start getting into all kinds of troubles. So we got to make sure that we're keeping that body working the way it's supposed to be. So leaky gut plus inflammation leads to disease. So if you damage the gut, Crohn's disease, irritable bowel syndrome, celiac disease, things related to the gut. Of course, that's going to happen. But as you're passing this material through the gut, you end up with other problems because the immune system starts to attack, say, for example, starts to attack your adrenal glands. Going to lead to chronic fatigue, lack of energy. What if it attacks your pancreas? Now you got diabetes. Lupus and your rheumatoid arthritis, that is a classic autoimmunity condition tied to gut problems that we need to repair. You fix the gut, those conditions tend to improve. Lupus, fibromyalgia, that's going to be the immune system attacking muscles. Allergies, asthma, acne, mental illness. Think about that, Dr. Andrew, mental illness. How can a gut problem lead you down the path of mental illness? Well, that's simple. Tell them.
We have, can you hear me?
Yep, sure can.
Awesome. Glad to be back. So our gut is also known as the second brain because it's creating dopamine, serotonin, which are our feel-good neurotransmitters, and also GABA. So if any of those are out of whack, GABA is an inhibitory neuron, which means that your thoughts are always going to be racing, which is going to lead to anxiety. If you have decreases in dopamine, for example, you might have depression going on. And it's one thing I always think that's crazy too is when we're explaining the nervous system for somebody for the first time, we explain how a pinched nerve in the low back, a subluxation, could cause gut issues. And how often do people say, holy crap, I have gut issues going on?
Yeah, like every single time. It's crazy, right? So symptoms of this leaky gut, okay? So what you expect things like an upset stomach, unintentional weight changes. Sometimes that's gain, sometimes it's loss. sleep problems. Now, that's an interesting one because in your gut, you manufacture serotonin, which is the happy hormone, but serotonin gets converted into melatonin. And if you got gut problems, are depressed and you can't sleep. And that's why that leads to fatigue, food sensitivities, bloating, skin problems, and digestive issues. But Dr. Andrew, I haven't even talked about the number one symptom of gut problem. What is that, my friend?
That's the absolute most dangerous symptom somebody can have, and that's no symptom at all. Because when you have no symptom, what do you do? What do you do about it?
Nothing. I feel fine. Why would I do anything? And see, that's what happens to people. They come and they go, well, my gut's fine. I don't have any of these symptoms that you've listed here, Dr. Ray, but I do have diabetes. I do have liver problems. I do have asthma. I do have acne. I do have trouble losing weight. All those different strategies are a consequence of the inflammatory reaction that occurs chronically in the gut. That chronic inflammatory condition spreads throughout the body. And that's what we have to make sure we repair as we fix our leaky gut problem. Now, one of my favorite topics, the gut brain. There's actually 3 brains inside the body. Everybody knows about the one brain, right, Dr. Andrew?
So we have the brain.
The brain, right? That's our thinking brain. And that thinking brain has about 100 billion neurons, okay? Now, the heart has about 700 million neurons, and the gut has 500 million neurons. And they have crosstalk. They're talking to each other all the time. Have you ever had a gut feeling about something? Of course you have. Everybody has. If you haven't, you're not human. But you don't trust it because all you believe in is that thinking brain. But that thinking brain, you need to listen to your gut sometimes. Sometimes your gut tells you not to do something and you go forward and you find out you made a mistake. You ever had your heart broken? That's a heart neuron right there. And there's all this crosstalk. And that's what it looks like right there. Now we're talking about the 2 brains today instead of the 3 brains. But look at all these connections. At the very top, you can see the spinal cord there. You've got all these interconnections where the brain is talking to the heart, to the brain is talking to the gut's talking to the brain. And so this interplay is what creates this healthy body we're looking for. So again, the feel-good hormones, as Dr. Indra alluded to. Okay, the gut brain talks to the thinking brain and they interact. So the brain tells the gut, hey man, we're needing some serotonin. We need to get happy in the world. 90% manufactured in the gut. If the gut's damaged because of the things we've discussed, serotonin's going to plummet. You think an SSRI drug, an antidepressant drug is going to fix that gut problem? I think it's going to make it worse. Dopamine, 50% of your pleasure hormone is manufactured in the gut. So if you got a leaky gut, you got problems there, you got damaged gut, your dopamine, you're not going to feel like doing, the things I used to love, I don't love anymore. I don't do that. I don't go camping. I don't go hiking, backpacking. I don't care about my relationships. All I want to do is sit around and be bored and unhappy and sad. And that's it. And then GABA, as Dr. Andrew alluded to, GABA is actually a brain neurotransmitter. So if you inhibit the production of this GABA aminobutyric acid, you're going to wind up with an excitatory response where glutamate in your brain, glutamine, becomes overexcited. Now you have anxiety, panic attacks. You see, they all kind of come together. Gosh, I got the depression. I got the lack of interest. I got anxiety and panic attacks. And what do they give you? You get all the anti-anxiety, anti-depression, and all these medications, which never gets to the cause. Crazy. So the answer lies in what, Dr. Andrew? Tell them.
We have to live in congruence to the way we were designed, created, or evolved, which entails living the 5 essentials. So we have to be strong within each one of these essentials. Not a single one can be lacking.
And see, that's the challenge. You guys come into the office and you think, well, I don't need to go to webinars and learn these actions. I don't need to exercise. I don't need to worry about my toxins. I don't need to work on nutrition. In fact, heaven forbid, chiropractic. How many people do you know out there that drank like a fish and didn't take care of themselves, ate garbage food, never exercised a day in their life, and seemed to have an epic life? It's because they were missing the core chiropractic principle. They didn't have the mindset. Some people got the chiropractic, but don't have the nutrition. Some people have nutrition, but not the toxicity. This isn't piecework. Okay. It's a 5 essential clinic. And that's how we're going to get this gut healed and get your body back to where it needs to be, which is 100%. So our focus today is going to be on, we're starting off all of it, but we're going to hit nutrition first. All right. So causes of a poor gut health, poor nutrition. So what do we got to do? We got to avoid, replenish, and supplement. So there's things we need to avoid to make sure our gut is healthy. We need to replenish things that have been damaged. And because of the damage to the gut, you have to supplement. A lot of patients will tell me, Dr. Ray, how come I have to do all these supplements? Well, because your gut's damaged, you can't break down the food and you can't get the nutrients and the vitamins out of your food. So especially with gut and liver problems, those two, we have to supplement. There's no way to get around it. So what are the things we got to do? Now, Dr. Andrew took offense to this particular slide. He didn't like the picture I picked on this one. Can you tell him why?
Because both are sugars. So we have our processed sugars on her left hand, which is desserts, but then on the right hand, we have fruits, which fruits do have some benefits to it because the fiber helps slow down the digestion of sugars. But our body actually only holds the ability to digest about 2 apples worth of fructose. Once we've gone past that, then it gets shuttled to the liver, causes liver toxicity, and then it also starts damaging the gut too because it becomes undigested food as well.
So not the best slide, I guess, but bottom line is we all can kind of agree that the one in her right hand is definitely a better choice than the one in her left hand, no doubt about it. So what do we have to do? We have to look at things like artificial sweeteners. The big 3, we got the pink stuff, we got the blue stuff, we got the yellow stuff. Now the pink stuff has kind of gone away a little bit. That pink stuff, your saccharin, it's very bitter and they don't use it much anymore, but very, very toxic to the body. Aspartame, which is your equal, which is the blue stuff, turns into what? Dr. Andrew, do you remember what that becomes inside our body? Formaldehyde. It's crazy. So bottom line is when I die, I want to decompose. All right. I don't want people coming back, pulling me out of the ground, opening up the coffin and see me fully set in. When I was a student in school, we had to digest human beings and they're loaded with formaldehyde to decrease the decomposition of the body. Guys, the purpose of food is to decompose, break down, and absorb. And aspartame limits that. It's insane. And sucralose is even more crazy. Okay. It's got a chemical name I can't even pronounce. The non-fancy, it's the yellow stuff, is called Splenda. Now, Splenda starts off as a sugar and goes through a comprehensive biochemical transformation, which is toxic to the body and was like a Dr. Andrew had mentioned earlier about an insecticide. That's the one we're talking about. So stay away from artificial sweeteners. You want your gut. Talk about processed food and high sugar foods, Dr. Andrew, why that's bad.
So high sugar foods, first of all, is going to create the systemic inflammation response. So you're going to be chronically inflamed. When you're chronically inflamed, that's going to break down the gut barrier. But then also it's going to feed that, well, we said at the beginning there was not good or bad bacteria, but it's going to feed the ones in a dysbiotic relationship that we would consider bad. They're fueled by sugar, such as candida, different yeast. They're going to just feed off that sugar.
It's insane, right? So what about conventionally grown meats? We already alluded to that because you have a GMO food product that you're feeding to a cow. It needs pesticides and herbicides. Grains are made of sugar, pesticides, herbicides. You're eating a toxic cow. You put that in your body and your gut's going to get destroyed. So we got to make sure that. Alcohol. Talk about alcohol, Dr. Andrew. How's that cause dysbiosis?
Coming back to inflammation once again, but then alcohol. Well, what is beer? It's a yeast. Well, we start feeding our body more and more yeast. Well, guess what? We develop that imbalance going on. There's going to be more yeast there, which is going to create that dysbiotic relationship, and it's going to break down the protective mucosal layer of the gut as well.
Crazy, guys. So that's what you got to avoid. So try to avoid those things. Again, getting back to basics, guys. food, Dr. Andy, we were talking about this program. He said, if it's touched by man's hands, it's destroyed. And that's pretty much the way it is. The minute they start playing with it and manipulating, it gets jacked up. So what do we have to replenish? Omega-3 fatty acids. Okay. Omega-3. Now there's all kinds of those are fish oils, by the way, in case you guys don't know what omega-3s are. Most people do today. But there's omega-3s, omega-6s, omega-12s, omega-9s. There's all kinds of omegas, and the body needs a lot of these different things. But if you think about what omega-3s are anti-inflammatory. What have we been beating the table about? Inflammation. So omega-3s bring down inflammation. Now, how does it work? Well, omega-3s, now I want you to think about a cell like a marble with straws stuck in it. Okay, now those straws occur every 3 molecules. So 1, 2, 3 straw, 1, 2, 3 straw. Okay, so nutrients come in from the straw. Okay, you process the food inside and they exit through the straw. The more straws you got, the easier stuff gets in, the easier stuff gets out, the easier you can eliminate. So that's why omega-3s are anti-inflammatory. Okay, all right. So sorry, I clicked on the wrong button again. All right, so let's move on. Too much to do here. Probiotics. What's a probiotic, Dr. Andrew?
It's the beneficial bacteria that's going to bring us back into that symbiotic relationship.
What was our challenge, though? We said acidophilus. That's the only probiotic, right? That's all they say. That's the only kind that are good for us. Then we created dysbiosis with that. So we're learning more and more that the probiotics have to be a very diverse family. We need all kinds of different varieties in order to keep that balance in our gut to eliminate the dysbiosis. Now, interestingly enough, prebiotic, a lot of people don't know what a prebiotic is. What is that, Dr. Andrew?
Prebiotic is the food for the probiotics.
Right, so you're feeding the bugs.
Yes.
All right, and the last thing is raw foods. Raw, natural, organic foods. The closer to the soil, the better off it's going to be. So that's how you replenish your gut and get it healing. All right. Now, the last step, the nutraceuticals. This is going to be your nutritional supplements to help feed and heal your gut. Now, step by step. First thing we got to do to fix your gut, we got to drop an atomic bomb on the gut to kill all this nastiness. All right. Now, Max GI, I call this the mild bomb. Okay. My favorite, it's actually a bacteria inside of this Max GI is called Bacillus subtilis. Now, what I think is so cool about it, now who figures out this stuff? I don't know. But what it does is the poisonous, dangerous things implant themselves in the gut layer. What this Bacillus subtilis does is comes in there and takes a hatchet and chops off all the roots, and all those bacteria and viruses and parasites die. Pretty cool, yeah? But this is the microbomb compared to this guy. GI Synergy, this has yeastanol, pyristinol. It's got every type of anol that you can get to annul everything. We're talking killing everything inside your gut. Now, that's not necessarily a good thing, right? Because then you can get an imbalance. So what are we going to do? We're going to chase it with the healthy probiotic. Again, this is going to be a very diverse family. So there's going to be a lot of different strains within this. So we're going to kill everything that's in there and replace it with some healthy bacteria. And you can start replacing and replenishing. Then we're going to feed them with the Pure Path fiber. That's your prebiotic. Are you with me? So we're going to bomb it, if mildly, with the Max GI. A big one would be the other, and then we're going to put in the healthy bacteria, and then we're going to feed the bacteria to grow them. I mean, just picture a garden. That's all we're doing is replenishing the garden. And now we got to repair those leaky holes, that leaky gut. That's the Gut Renew powder. It's going to fill in all the gaps with all the missing nutrients. So now you can start digesting your food, absorbing your food in a normal fashion. Inflammation plummets, and all these weird symptoms go away. Interestingly enough, glutamine. Glutamine is the number one amino acid inside of our body, and most of it is made of the gut. This is like a turbocharger. So we provide the Gut Renew to do the repair. The glutamine is the raw material that's going to be the lumber to build the house called your gut. Okay, make sense? I
So,
believe that's it.
glutamine is in charge of holding those junctions of the gut together. So if glutamine's out of whack, well, guess what? We don't have enough material to hold those junctions together. They open up, and then we have that leaky gut going on.
You got it, Dr. Andrew. And ironically, hopefully my mom's on. She can, oops, I got to click on that. Okay. She's listening in because my mother did this protocol. If you want to talk to her, feel free, because she was struggling big and hard. And with her whole body, she was ready to do just about anything medical to feel better. She was non-functional. My mother's a very, very healthy person. And we put her on this exact protocol, and the consequence has been amazing. I just talked to her, I adjusted her today, and she said, I haven't felt this good in months. So guys, if you're experiencing any type of an inflammatory condition, which by the way is what, Dr. Andrew? Freaking everything, right? So this is going to be your protocol to get this thing back into play again. All right. But let's say, Dr. Ray, I get you. I understand everything made logical sense, but I don't think I need a gut program. Well, we recommend lifetime supplements, right, Dr. Andrew? Why do we do that?
Well, we have so many vitamins, minerals deficient in our diet that's going to then cause disbalances. And everything's about balance we're discussing. If there's a disbalance in one organ, that's going to affect the next organ. So we need to make sure our cells are healthy, and that's through just an essential nutrient pack supplied through Max Living.
Now, even when we provide good quality organic nutrient food, because of our past farming practices and our toxic world, it's nearly impossible to get all the essentials that we need. That's why we encourage everybody to do their lifetime supplements. So pick up those lifetime supplements if you don't feel like gut is your issue. All right. Now we have 2 eating plans, Dr. Andrew. Can you explain those to the folks, and which one should they be doing, especially if they have systemic inflammation?
So the Max Living Core Plan, that's the one once we have inflammation under control. But we have the Advanced Plan diet. What that is going to take out anything that could irritate the gut, irritate any organs, cause autoimmunity, inflammation going on. The Advanced Plan cuts that all out. It allows the body to reset itself, and then we are able to add other foods in to see what irritates, what causes irritation or not.
So yeah, guys, the Advanced Plan is the king for everybody. If you're experiencing any type of an inflammatory condition, which is pretty much everything, that's where you begin the process. As time passes, we can transition them back into Core Plan, right, Dr. Andrew? And I go back and forth.
I eat probably 90% Advanced Plan. It's more of a lifestyle than it is even a diet.
Yeah. What's your favorite line on diet?
Can't spell diet without die.
Nobody wants to die. All right. Mindset. We hinted to this a little bit earlier as it relates to cortisol. As we have the wrong mindset. We're stressed out. We're panicked. We're freaking out. What happens? Our mindset goes south. Cortisol accelerates. Leaky gut thins that mucosa. Everything starts passing through, and we get this. It's like a snowball effect. It's like we start off, when we're younger, smoking cigarettes out behind daddy's barn and sneaking some beers and eating junk food, not taking care of ourselves. And then we start eating more and more processed foods and we're feeling fine the whole time. Then all of a sudden things start to go south and people say, gosh, what did I do yesterday that created this? This is a lifestyle. Everything we teach is a lifetime event. It's not about short-term thinking. It's about lifetime thinking, lifetime health, lifetime wellness. And stress is one of the most detrimental things you can do. Comment on that, Dr. Andrew?
Yeah, so stress, I think we alluded to that pretty well, causing inflammation, cortisol response. But I think I speak on your behalf too, Dr. Ray, that doctor means to teach, is to be a teacher. So what we want to do is we want to pour as much value into you, teach you as much as you can possibly handle on health and healing. But then it's up to you to make the decision on how you're going to live your life. And I can guarantee you, if you live in accordance to the 5 essentials, you're going to be one step closer to your superhuman self. My goal, Dr. Nick's goal, Dr. Ray's goal is all to unleash your inner superhuman.
And that's it, man. It's about releasing that superhuman inside of you so you can do the things, you can enjoy the life of your dreams, do the things you love now and for the rest of your life. Guys, we're about keeping people healthy for a lifetime. So we got to avoid, rejuvenate, and strategize as it relates to management of stress, as it relates to gut. Toxins, we alluded to, but now again, we talked about the 5 essentials. This is essential number 5. Glyphosate, found in Roundup. BPA, found in plastics, loaded with estrogens. Guys, if anybody out there is drinking out of a water bottle right now that's plastic, you're insane, because that stuff is leaching in, and they're finding out more and more. And as they replace the BPA with non-BPA products, they're finding they're worse than the other stuff. And heavy metals everywhere in our bodies and everywhere. It's insane. So to improve your gut, we've got to detox to make sure your body is healthy and your gut's healing. Exercise. Exercise. Can you speak to the nitric oxide system, Dr. Andrew, and as it relates to max T3 and decreasing inflammation?
So yes, with the nitric oxide system creates something called vasodilation, which allows our blood vessels to open up to flush out inflammation. But it also drives blood flow to our gut area, which allows us to digest food better, allows us to repair the leaky gut syndrome. We need to boost nitric oxide to push blood to where it needs to be, push toxins out where it is, and it also helps to heal that gut in the long term.
So end game, guys, again, what did we say at the beginning? It's a 5 essential program. It's not about just getting adjusted. It's not just about doing webinars and listening in and applying prints. Not just about diet. It's not just about detox. It's about a full 5 essential plan, which leads us into what I consider the second most critical element beyond knowledge and education, and that's chiropractic. We've got to get your spine right. Everything is tied to this. If you don't get your core chiropractic, the brain can't talk to the stomach, to the pancreas, and the liver, and your gut. And I don't care what you put in your body. I don't care how much exercising you do. I don't care how much you detoxify. Your body cannot and will not express health. It just will not. So we've got to make sure the spine is exactly where it needs to be. So Dr. Andrew, fill in the blanks on that a little bit.
Yeah, I think one thing I've noticed since I moved to Denver, which is the fittest city in the world, is that people are doing the other 4 essentials. They're exercising, they're eating right, they're meditating, they're detoxifying, they're doing everything else, but they still have a plethora of health conditions going on because they're missing that one core essential, and that is chiropractic. Now, if there is damage to the nervous system, that's going to drive up the sympathetic response, which is going to make you think like you're running from a tiger, like I alluded to earlier. So the adjustment is going to take the pressure off the nervous system, allow the body to relax and do its job. When you're in a parasympathetic state, you're able to heal, you're able to thrive. If you don't remove that subluxation, I can give you all the organic food you want. We can go through all the toughest CrossFit workouts, the world's best detoxification. But if the nervous system isn't talking to every cell, every organ at 100%, then guess what? You're going to be missing out.
And you will not and cannot heal. So and interestingly on this picture, I want you all to look at the picture on the right in the mid-back area. Look at all the nerves that are connected into the gut. You see that? Now, as Dr. Andrew alluded to, the sympathetic response means the adrenaline response. And that's what that means. The parasympathetic, which is located on the top end and the bottom end, look at the very top end. See the black wire going into those?
We're missing the chart, Dr. Ray.
What's that? Oh,
we're missing the chart.
I'll get it eventually. Brain damage, terrible disease. There we go. Sorry, guys. I pulled up Dr. Andrew when he was talking, forgot to pull the chart back up. Okay, so here we go. So you can see in the middle part of the back there, the connection into the stomach and the intestines. Then the black wire, those are your relaxed ones. That's what you want to be firing during a gut response. You want to relax, rest, and digest. So there you go. Sorry, guys. So get the brain and body connected through that. Go ahead.
Go back to that real quick.
Sure.
Now, I'm going to nerd out for a little bit. There's a nerve at the top bone of our neck. It's my favorite nerve in the whole body, and it's the vagus nerve. And it's what happens in Vegas does not stay in Vegas in this case. But this nerve, guess what? It goes from our brainstem directly to the gut. And that's also in charge of helping to decrease inflammation. If there's a misalignment, subluxation to the top bone of our neck, guess what? The vagus nerve is decreased. Inflammation is not going to be controlled, which is going to further just deteriorate the gut and the rest of the body.
Awesome, Dr. Andrew. Thank you for that. Okay, guys. Now, these are some of the common warning signs. Again, it's not an all-inclusive list. We use this list almost every program. But again, it's tied to everything. You see, as it relates to what we do in our office, we literally treat nothing. I know that sounds really bizarre when you look at all these lists of laundry list of problems, but we don't treat anything. See, what we do is we restore your body back to what it needs to be, which is optimized health. And how long do you want to have an optimized, healthy body? Well, I hope forever. But the challenge we run into is people don't see it that way because we've been programmed to treat symptoms. And so who needs our help? Your friends and family need our help. And guys, we can't do this alone. We need you to refer your friends and family in and help. And we got a nice little strategy here. All you got to do is grab your cell phone. Everybody grab your cell phone right now. Pick it up, pick up your cell phone. I want you to go to the part of the phone where you do text messaging, okay? Go back to that part. I'm doing it myself. Ready? And you're going to go in there. You're going to pull it up. You're going to put in the number 303-254-8430. That's our office number. And you're to text the word spine. Okay? All you do is put spine in there. And when you hit spine, hit send. In about a few minutes, you're going to get a notification. And it's going to say, you're going to receive your exam. That's a little link and a bunch of language and stuff. So take that, and I want you to create a group text and send it to everybody you love. And explain to them how critically important chiropractic and this 5 essential maximized living lifestyle is to your optimum health. And guys, it's a nice special. It's $49 for your family to get checked. It's time. It's time to help everybody. We need to step up and stop playing small. It's the only way it's going to happen. Okay. Now, we also have something called a gut perspective. Now, this is a step-by-step instruction manual on everything we went through, what you're supposed to do, what to take, how to take it, all that kind of stuff. So what you got to do here, again, you're going to go back to your cell phone. Okay. We're getting this thing figured out. Someday I'll maybe actually get this dialed in and not keep goofing up. Okay. But we're going to text the same phone number. This time you stay in the same thread. You're going to text the word gut and you're going to get this perspective. You'll get the link. You'll click on it, download it, print it, look at it on your phone, however you want to digest the material, read it, learn it, love it, apply it. This is not, understand, I enjoy doing these things, but I don't enjoy it if people don't take advantage of it. So you're going to do that. So here's your step-by-step instruction manual to getting your body healthy. Step number 1, you're going to text gut to receive your gut perspective, what I just told you a few seconds ago. Step number 2, we have a healthy recipe guide we put together. This is a recipe for healing your gut. It's got 20 different recipes or so. So I want you to text the word recipe to that same number, okay? Next thing you're going to do, you're going to tell your friends by texting those that you're going to get spine, and you're going to forward that link to everybody you love and care about so they can learn what we do. All right, is that fair? And the final thing you're going to do is you're going to text the word bundle that to that same number, 303-254-8430. And when that happens, we're going to receive a notification in the office. You tell them whatever supplements you want. I want the full bundle. I want the Gut Renew. I want the GI Synergy, whatever it is. You want the full pack, just say, get me the full gut. Make sure you put your name on it, okay? Because we won't have your number. We'll just have the number, not your name. And we will pull that stuff, get it ready for you. We'll call you back, and you can get the credit card to the girls on the phone. They'll get everything ready when you get into the office. Fair enough? That's what you do. Right now, I want you to take your cell phone and I want you to take a picture of this view right here. So I want you to take a picture of this so we can make sure you get the whole thing. There's your picture, the whole thing. So take a picture, snapshot of that. So we are ready to rock and roll. Okay. This is how we're going to change and transform you. So let's make sure you get that done. Okay. All right. So we're getting there, almost home, guys. Thank you for hanging in there with us. Now, upcoming events. Next event coming up, it's called Movement. It's all about the power of motion, exercise, essential number 4. We're going to delve in deep to help you learn why it's so critical that you incorporate fitness into your lifestyle. It's coming up September the 29th, online, just like we're doing now at 6:30 p.m. All right? Fair enough? Next. Excellent. Okay, well, a couple more slides. We're almost home, kids. Whoops. I think we're good here. Hit the wrong button. Okay, now this is something new. Now, for all of you that hung in with me during this whole program, myself and Dr. Andrew, excuse me, you're going to learn something tonight, and that's a sneaky little thing. So we're going to get everybody involved. So for 1 week following this webinar, okay, you're going to get discounts on anything you want in the office. Whether it's the lifetime supplements we talk about, whether it's a protocol we've developed for you, anything, you're going to get 15% off all the in-office products. All you got to do is whisper the secret code to the front desk. And the secret code, guys, is GUT. Now, we've always had a secret code where you could pick up your supplements, but we never put it on for an entire week. So from tomorrow, which is Wednesday, to next Wednesday, you're going to have 15% off products. Just whisper the word GUT to the staff so they know you know about the discount program, and they'll take 15% off your bill. Okay?
I really just
do it. Go ahead.
Guys, I can't highlight this enough. You have to make sure you get started on this GUT protocol right away. It's fresh in your mind right now. If you're thinking in your head, I'll start on that tomorrow or next week, you're never going to get started on it. And the problem's going to get worse and worse, and it's going to be harder to fix when it gets worse. So get started on it right away while this is fresh on your mind. We're here for you to answer any questions, but we got to get started right away. The best time to start is today.
Perfect. Guys, I love it. So, and for everybody else, they're going to get 5%. Now, we meant to have a banner made already, but we ran into some struggles because I, of course, want more than they can do. So we're going to hopefully for the next webinar, whatever you want to call this, we're going to actually have the banner out front, and it'll say, talk about the secret code and 15% off for all participants in the webinar, and for everybody else, 5% off. And so the bottom line is all they got to do is make it to the end. If you participate to the end, okay, you get your discount, the extra 10% off, and that way you can save money. You should never pay retail in my office. We always have mechanisms for saving you some dough. All right. So I think this is the second to the last slide of the last slide. I don't know. I ended this one, Doctor. I don't know if you saw this one or not. I just added it. I'm going to ask you all a question. Did you learn something today? Answer that question to yourself. Say it out loud. I hope so, because this is what it kind of feels like. Dr. Andrew, Dr. Nick, team, you guys know this is what it feels like. This is what it feels like right now. This is what my heart feels right now. I got 10,000 billion people lining up for masks, gloves, and vaccines because they're paranoid, petrified, and scared. And we're on the right-hand side, building immune system with people through exercise, rest, the 5 critical essentials, and we're sitting there with crickets. That's what it feels like. I know I'm preaching to the choir because you guys are online. You're doing this. You're doing it. You're killing it. You're doing it. But guys, we can't stress enough. We got to get this line shifted. We got to get more people thinking and taking personal responsibility for their health. We know how to be healthy. Your body knows how to be healthy. It just doesn't need any interference. We got to reduce interference to its minimal form, reduce subluxation to its minimal form, reduce stress to its minimal form, reduce the toxins in food to their minimal form, reduce inflammation through exercise, and reduce our toxicity. But the only way it happens is because you care enough. You care enough to share. So why do we continue? Why do we go on? Even though that's what my heart feels most of the time these days, because of this right here. There it is. That's why. For those who don't know, Sam is pregnant. Congratulations, Dr. Andrew is going to be a new papa. What kind of a world do you want to bring your child into, Dr. Andrew? Do you want a world full of toxins, poisons, vaccines, gloves, masks? We are torturing our children. They are scared. They're petrified. Can you imagine being a child right now and dealing with what's going on right now? They don't know what to do. I'm in it for them. I'm in it for the babies. I'm in it for you. That's why we continue. We continue on because it's necessary. Because, guys, there's nobody else out there telling this message. Nobody. Max Living has taken the lead on this. And, guys, we have to keep going. Tomorrow, we're going to be sending out a bulk text email to share this program with others. Guys, this is a battle we cannot lose. And I can't stress enough that picture of all those people in line for the drugs and the pills and the surgery and they take no responsibility like you. We have to change. We have to change. We have to. Dr. Andrew, any more comments before we give this thing away?
Yeah, we are, you guys aren't, but we're being sold constantly on a premise that you are broken, that you are faulty, that you should be scared because of how inferior you are. But every single time you walk through this door and lay down on the table, my job, Dr. Ray's job, Dr. Nick's job, is to allow you to express how amazing, to express the true miracle you are. Now, as I'm looking forward to the day when Sam gives birth, I'm able to hold the child. When you hold a child, you say, look at this miracle of life. When was the day that you stopped being a miracle, or your friends stopped being a miracle, or your family stopped being a miracle? They still are. We just have to figure out exactly what's keeping them from that. And I know right now it's one of the 5 essentials is missing, most likely chiropractic.
So guys, we have to help. We have to serve others. We have to make sure we're doing what's necessary to restore people back to health. And guys, it's only going to happen because of you. See, Dr. Andrew's hands are amazing. Dr. Nick, even more amazing. They're way better. I mean, when I started 33 years ago, oh my God, I mean, you don't even want to be my patient back then. These guys are head and shoulders above me right now. I'll tell you right now, they are amazing. And if you haven't been adjusted by them, do. Because they have a talent, they have an ability, they have something, the je ne sais quoi, if you will. But we can't just rely on our big fat mouths to keep selling and telling and promoting. You guys have to help your friends, help your loved ones, care enough to let them get in that different line. Let's start getting more people shifting and looking over and saying, wow, this sounds like a better approach for me. I don't want to toxify my body. I don't want to become sick. I don't want to become ill. I just want to have optimum health. All right. So with no further ado, we're going to give away. Now, Sam did something pretty awesome. I don't know if you guys know this or not. It was Sam's idea. She created this little pack here. Okay. I'm going to pull it up here. We're going to get rid of the picture and we'll just pull up the pack. Okay. Here it is. All right. So here she is. There's our pack. We've been talking about it on our online exercise classes. We've been talking about Facebook Live, and we're going to give this bugger away. We got in here all kinds of stuff. We got spa stuff. We got stuff. There's a spa. You got a thing from Natural Grocers. You got all kinds of wonderful things. You got a T-shirt from our office. You got something from Periodic Brewery. They have some nice, healthy, organic beers there. All kinds of neat stuff. So all these people have donated some neat products for you guys to be healthy, and they partnered with us so you guys get to be healthy. So if you did what Sam asked, which was checking in online and referring friends and buying products and all that kind of stuff, you got to drop in a ticket inside of here. So we got some people in here. We're going to draw. I'll close my eyes so I don't cheat. I wanted to cheat so bad right there. All right, there it is. So our winner is, I don't know if you can see this or not. I'll get it up really close. Where's the camera? Right there. No, up or down? Up, over. Can you read it, Dr. Andrew? Ellen Block, she's the winner. Woo! You won it. You're the girl. You're the woman. All right. So, Ellen, you won this. So, she'll pick it up tomorrow. Congratulations, Ellen. And congratulations to all of you. Congratulations because, Dr. And, you're an amazing person. You're a healing individual. You're going to have the life of your dreams. And why is that? Because you participate. You play big. You play hard. And I'm looking forward to spending a life loving on you and loving on life and loving and getting you the life you deserve. So thank you all for listening. I hope you learned something. Share. Click on that. I hope you took a picture of that slide I did up there. If you haven't, I'll go back up just so you guys can get a picture of it on the action steps. There she is. So no, you can't see it. I did it again. So I'm not go ahead. Did it show back up yet? No. All right. Apparently I broke it. What's new? I got to do that. Okay. It's broken again. Whatever. Okay. You guys hopefully took your picture like you should have. I screwed it up at the very end. Come on. You can come up. Come on. All right. Whatever. All right, you guys. Have a great rest of the night. We'll see you in the office. Share, love, take care. Adios. Have a great night. Dr. Andrew, any final comments? No?
Let's change the world together, guys.
Peace.